Great evening, great evening, great evening. Next level. Welcome in tonight. I want to welcome all of you all that are hopping in tonight, hopping on tonight. I want to thank you all, as always, for being a part of Next Level. I don't think saying thank you gets old. I appreciate you all. There's a lot of things you could be doing. I know that many of you all are busy and just sometimes you just stop and listen and join in and be a part of Next Level. So I'm grateful for that. I want you to just come in the room. I want you to just hit the like button if you don't mind and hit that share button and let people know that Next Level Thinking is on. And as always, this is our night to shift. Matter of fact, I want you to say that tonight. Say, this is my night to shift. This is my night to shift. What am I shifting? I'm just shifting the way I think. I do Next Level and I love doing Next Level because I think for me, that's the goal. Is to get people to believe that there is a next level for them and that sometimes, not all the time, because I don't believe everybody thinks in a negative way, but I think sometimes life can just, come at you in such a way that you forget just how amazing of a person you are and you can be. I mean, I think I say this all the time to the church. Look at all that you've gone through and you're still here, and that's your testimony. I mean, somebody can just put hands on the screen or that and just declare, I'm still here. And there's a lot of you still left. There's a lot more of you still left. And I just believe that that's what it is. So I try to interrupt your life for about 30 minutes and just really try to put something positive into your mind to let you know that there is a next level for you. And so you being on here, it means the world to me because at least I have somebody to talk to. I never, since I've started doing this, and do this every Tuesday, I never ever worry about how many people are on or off from here. What I try to focus more on is the people that are listening to me, are they getting what they need? And that's the thing. So I just want to say thank you to all of you all. And this month at our church, we're going to be dealing with living grateful, being grateful. And so I wanted to kind of insert this into next level thinking. And I kind of want to just deal with this month alone on just living a thankful life. And somebody put that on the screen. I'm living a thankful life. I want people to understand what it means to really live a thankful life. Even, sitting here tonight as I was preparing for next level, sitting in my office and sitting at home tonight, um, it's such a blessing. And I truly, truly, when you've gone through a lot, let me say it like this, and when you've dealt with a lot, and when you remember the things that you've gone through, I don't really spend a lot of time dwelling on, past things and hurt and all that kind of stuff. That's not really my focus. I just look at where I came from and I look at where I am, even to be sitting in this home. God has blessed me and First Lady with a beautiful home. And even to be sitting here, it reminds me, it just makes me be more thankful every time. And maybe this is me, somebody can just say amen to this. But every time I look at where I was and where I am, that's just a level of thankfulness. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt that I didn't get here on my own. Somebody put this on the screen. God, you've been good. And I realized that. And so living that thankful life, and how do we do that? And thankfulness is more than just an emotion, but it's the way we live our lives because we have total faith in God. So it's not just an emotion. That's why some people, for them, it may be emotional because they're only thankful when things are going their way. Well, thankful is more than just an emotion and when things are going our way, because sometimes when things are not going our way, we can just remember that it hadn't always gone our way and we still made it. Somebody be honest tonight and put this on the screen. It hadn't always gone our way. It hadn't always gone my way. And so it's not just about being an emotional person. Because to be honest with you, there are a lot of people that are thankful for opportunities. There are a lot of people that are thankful for their families and life experiences. There are a lot of people that are thankful that how they have helped others, but they don't, and some of those people don't have a relationship with God. But they look and the life experience and the things that they've gone through. A lot of people that are thankful for that. But believers, we're thankful because not only do we have it, but we know God did it. We don't give ourselves no credit. So our thankfulness is to God because we give God the glory. There are some people that are thankful, but they never thank God. But I want you to put on the screen tonight, God did all of this. Next level, new direction, everything that I have, everything that I own, God did this. And I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for just what he's, when you have gone through depression, I've gone through that. When you've gone through low places in your ministry, when you've gone through no growth and people leaving you and all of these things happening to you, you learn that when you start looking back, you start realizing that I still had something to be thankful for. There are some bad things that have happened in my life. Had they never happened, I wouldn't have saw what I saw. There are some things that have happened that have just allowed me to be more thankful at what I have. And this is something, this is just the season. This is just where I'm in. And this is where I am. And I'm staying here. Somebody put this on the screen. I'm staying thankful. I'm not going to be unthankful, if that's a word. I'm staying thankful because I realize that God did it for me. So I know that I have a family, but God gave it to me. I know that, you may have something, but God did it all for you. Somebody put that on the screen and say, God did everything for me. And so I'm thankful. So, how then do we live this life? I'm going to give you three ways to live a thankful life. We're going to start here, then, but I want to really drive this into your spirit as to how do we live this thankful life? Well, first of all, the first thing you got to do, number one, recognize God's hand is present even when life itself is not perfect. Recognize God's hand is present even when life itself is not perfect. See, some of you all, you may be dealing with that right now. Life for you may not be perfect. And life sometimes, when it's not perfect, we can't see God in our lives. But I want to remind you of this. God is still with you. Come on, somebody put on the shirt, say, God is still with me. And you have to recognize, you have to see God's hand when life is not perfect. Now, how is that? How can I see God's hand when life is not perfect? Here's one thing to think about. Whatever you're going through could have been worse. Whatever you're dealing with right now could have been worse. This is the shifting of the mind to get people to understand that life is not always going to be perfect. Come on, somebody put this on the screen. Life ain't always been perfect for me. And sometimes when life is not perfect, you get caught up in the drama of it. You get caught up in the things that you don't have and the things that people do and the things that people say. Life is not always perfect. It was hard to get here. Come on, somebody put on say it was hard to get here. And the harder that you work to get here, the more determined you become and not letting nobody take you back. See, you got to put this on. I'm not going back. It was hard. I'm not talking about here as far as material things. I'm talking about here as far as my next level thinking. I'm not here talking about cars and things like that. I'm talking about to get to a space to know that life has not been perfect for me, but God is still present. And maybe I want you to tag somebody's name in that. Say, God is still present. Whoever you know, even on here that may be doing something, God is still present. Life ain't got to be perfect. Life don't have to be perfect for me to be happy. That's just how some people, the only way some people live is it got to be perfect. There can be no flaws, there can be no errors. Everything has to be paid on time. Everybody has to like you. Everything has to go well. Children have to be well. Marriage has to be well. Job has to be perfect. Paycheck have to get into your account on time. And everything has to go without a glitch. And when those things don't happen, then life becomes difficult for you because I'm here to tell you everything I just named, all of that stuff can mess up at the same time. I've been in situations whereby I remember a time my church was in foreclosure, my house was in foreclosure, and the cars I had was in repo. That wasn't perfect, but guess what? You wouldn't have been able to look at me and tell it because I knew God's hand was in my life. Matter of fact, I didn't even talk about it a lot. I just prayed, sought God about it, and just waited on God to do it. That's what you got to. When God's hand is present in your life, when life is not perfect, you just tell him, I'm just waiting on God to do it. And how God does it is He's going to instruct me what I need to do. I didn't sit on my hands. Come on, somebody. I didn't walk around complaining. Because, see, life can sometimes get so difficult, you don't have time to complain. You got to learn how to shut some stuff down because you got too much that you got to get through to be worrying about silly stuff. It's not always perfect. It's not always whatever, but God's hand has always been present. Come on, somebody put it on the screen. God's hand, put it big. God's hand has always been present. There are people right now that are dealing with things worse than you, and their attitude is better than yours. There are people right now that are up against things, their back is up against the wall, and you ain't going through half of what they're going through, and you about to lose your mind. And you lose your mind because you don't realize that there can be glitches in your life. All things can go wrong at the same time. But you got to understand and hold on to God's unchanging hand. His hand hadn't left you. So that's the first one. The second one is remember God is faithful even in your failures. God is still faithful. Let me drive this point. God is still faithful even in my failures. All of us have failed. All of us have made bad choices. All of us have made bad decisions. But I'm here sitting in front of this camera, speaking to you because God didn't hold my failure against me. What He did do was make me better. See, people are trying to always talk to you about what you were, what somebody else was, how things were, this, and this. Those are failures. And it's amazing to me how people are so sharp in remembering your failures, but forget their own. Come on, somebody put hands on the screen. People are very good at telling you your failures, but they don't never remember their own. But you got to understand God is still faithful. Come on, somebody say, I needed this class tonight. God is still faithful. You can fail and God will still be faithful. You can mess it up worse than anybody. I don't need nobody to help me mess my life up. I can do that very well on my own. I've been very successful at messing my life up. Come on, somebody. I did it to a T. I don't need any assistance. That's why I'm careful who's in my life. Because if you ain't in my life to help me, then you're in my life to hurt me. I don't need nobody in my life that can continue to remind me of failure. I don't like talking about failures of others. If there is not a legitimate plan or something that's going to help them to get better, I don't want to talk about it. Because if all you're going to talk about, it's almost as if you're not praying for that person, let me hop off the ramp. If you're not praying for that person, if you're not seeking God for that person, then you're gloating in their failure, which means you like what they're going through. Maybe they did something to you. Maybe they were wrong in something, and you're enjoying the fact that they failed because you credit it to something they did to you. Yes, we reap what we sow. Yes, there are a lot of people that will have consequences for their actions. But that don't mean I got to celebrate it. That don't mean I got to enjoy it. Sometimes I really feel sorry for people for the things that they do and the underhanded stuff that they do. But God is still faithful to us. All of us have come through some failures. Be bold enough to say, and I say, I've come through some failures. I did not do all the things sometimes that God said for me to do. I failed a lot of times. I say this boldly in the church. I failed a lot of times pastoring the church. I messed up a lot of times pastoring the church. Oh man, I wish that I could take it back. I wish that I could go back. Somebody say, if I could turn back the hands of time and do things differently. But you know what failure taught me? Failure taught me how to do it the right way. Failure taught me how to handle things better. That's what it taught me. Failure didn't make me go into a shell and say what I couldn't do. Failure taught me what I could do. Come on, Bishop Hopkins tonight. No, see, some of you all, you failed, and because you failed, you don't feel like you can do it. That doesn't mean just because you failed at it, don't mean you can't do it. I've fallen off a lot of bicycles, but I got up and rode one. See, you just because you fail, don't mean you can't do it. It just means that you need to do it God's way. Somebody do me a favor and put this on the screen. Say, I'm learning to do it God's way. I'm learning to do it God's way. That's it. Next level thinking is something that I do every week. I love doing it. Sometimes I'm tired, but I love doing it. And sometimes I don't feel like doing it until I do it, but I do it. But I love doing it. But again, I don't look at those who don't support me or those who don't listen to me as a failure. No, I look at it as there's certain people that want to hear me, certain people that don't. Certain people, I don't look at life as a failure because I understand what I've had to go through to get to where I am. I talk different. Failure teaches you how to treat people better. How you get to the bottom and you come to the lowest point of your life and you still mistreat other people. Failure has taught me to look past people's faults or sometimes their own ignorance because I've been that way. Come on, somebody put this on the screen. I've been there. I've been there, and I praise God that He brought me there. So recognize God is faithful, even when you fail. Understand that God's hand is present when life is not perfect. And here's your last one to take home with you. Here's it. Here's the last one. Rejoice in God's goodness over bad gestures. Let me say this. I wrote this. I worked on this yesterday. I'm finna read something, but I worked on this yesterday. And here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned. Sometimes we can't get past bad gestures. Bad gestures are things that have been done to us intentionally that were really bad. They are just, you would be amazed at who does not have your best interest. Okay, you'll be amazed at conversations that people have about you that you know nothing about. You can walk in a group of people and you just blind to how they feel about you or how they think about you. I've gone through that as a pastor several times. I understand somebody's bad gesture, somebody's intent to do something bad to me or my family or my church. Everybody that's around you don't have good intentions for you. But here's the question I got to ask you in everything I just said. Has it ever stopped God from being good? Don't worry, I'll wait. What's somebody's bad intentions, bad gestures, bad way of handling you, mishandling you? Has it ever stopped God from being good? This is something that you have to think about while you're sitting around upset, agitated, or bothered by what people do. Has anything that they ever done to you, has it ever stopped God from being good? I want you to put this on the screen. Nobody has ever stopped God being good to me. Nobody has ever stopped God from being good to me. God has never stopped being good to me because of what somebody did to me. And we stop looking at it. That's why some of you all are angry. That's why some people, it's like this is the month of thankfulness. So there are some people that just need something positive in their life. And whether it's me, whether it's somebody's Bible study, whether it's somebody teaching leadership, getting ready to hop on with my men in a few minutes, no matter what it is, they don't try to get around positivity. They want to be mad. Some people don't want to reconcile with you. Some people don't want peace. So stop trying to bring peace into their life. They don't want it. Some people don't want to make amends with you. They want to be upset with you. They want to be upset about something. Everybody is not in love with the church. Everybody does not care about the things you care about. So why are you eliminating God's goodness because of how somebody feels? I said this to the church this morning. Don't ever make me so important that I control how you feel because I didn't do something you wanted me to do. I'm not your God. I'm not your God. I appreciate the fact that people respect me as a leader. They love me as a leader. I know that I have to be careful in my behavior, my words. I'm never trying to intentionally tear nobody down. I don't attack people with words. I don't use, the platforms that God have given me to hurt people. But I understand that sometimes people allow you so much control over them. Sometimes it was just a bad gesture. And then sometimes people make bad gestures and they didn't mean it. Sometimes they did mean it. It doesn't matter. When did God stop being good? And we've stopped looking at God's goodness because we pay attention to arguments, disagreements, what somebody think, how somebody feel. This one didn't do enough. I have pastored and been in church. I've been in church over 30 years of my life. And I've always wondered why people get so bent out of shape at somebody not doing something that they want them to do. Some people just don't like you. Some people love you, but they don't love you the way you think that they should love you. Some people have done some bad things. You've done some bad things, but God never stopped being good. When I think about this point that I'm making right here, sometimes you need to stop and look at God's goodness over the bad gesture. It never stopped. There's nothing nobody has ever done to me that have stopped God from being good to me. Nothing. Somebody put on screen, absolutely nothing. Somebody say, amen, Bishop. There's nothing. And if you stop and think about it for a minute, you're more in tune with the bad gesture than you are in the goodness of God. God will always prevail in your life. And his will is always going to be his will. Whether you fail, whether life is not perfect, whether there is a bad gesture, God is still always going to be good. So you got to get past the moment. Come on, somebody put it on the screen and say, I got to get past the moment. And you got to fall in love with being thankful and living this way. That's all I'm trying to do with New Direction. That's all I'm trying to do with Next Level is get you to go to that next level by saying, this is the way I'm going to live. I'm living thankful. Come on, somebody, everybody who can hear me type it. I'm living thankful. That's it. I'm not going to sit up and worry about things that are just not perfect. Right now, you got some things you got to navigate through. You just got to do it. I got some things I got to navigate through. I got some problems I got to navigate through. Got to have some tough and hard conversations. Got to do it. I got to do it. I've corrected the failures. Am I going to fail again? Probably so. But it does not take away that God's been faithful to me. And most importantly, God's goodness is bigger than a bad gesture. Somebody put this on the screen. God's goodness is bigger than a bad gesture. So that the Spirit of the Lord tonight would just grab us and say, this is how I want you to live. I tell y'all this on the prayer line. God can hear your prayer faster than he can hear your complaint. So stop complaining. Learn to just live in a thankful posture. Somebody say this tonight, say, I'm getting in a thankful posture. And learn to live in it. Learn to be that person that says, God's been extremely good to me. I have no reason whatsoever not to doubt him. So, Father, tonight I pray that you, in this series that we're doing, that you move us into a life full of just being thankful. through the good and through the bad. God, I pray that you switch and get our minds to being focused more on you. We're not perfect. Life is not perfect, but you're still present. And we thank you for that. We understand your goodness, even though people have had bad gestures. And we celebrate you and we thank you for it. You are so good and you're so kind. So we ask all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So come on, put those hands on the screen. If you needed this class tonight, come on, Bishop, I needed this. I needed this. I needed this. I thank you for it. And I'm praying tonight that I know the information is getting ready to go up on the screen about sewing. I'm praying tonight, working and waiting on some new equipment to come in, new background and different things. So I'm just praying tonight that you all sow into next level. I'm praying. I had somebody to call me today and they need help. And I don't loan money, but I know that it is at least $100 that they said they needed it. And I just pray tonight that if you could sow that seed or you could help me to be a blessing to them. And there are several other people that need us. And if I'm living a thankful life, I'm living a life where I can give and I can give freely. God honors the cheerful giver. So that's all I'm asking you to do tonight is just to plant and sow into next level. I assure you that we're going to be a blessing. Either way it goes, we're going to be a blessing. But I'm asking you tonight to plant and sow into next level so that we can keep doing the things that we're doing. I have no ill intentions. I'm not up for no foolishness. I just honestly want to do this to help people. And I really use this just to bless people. I pray that you all, hear this tonight. And I want you to say these words as you leave tonight. I got it. I got it. 3 words. I got it. Bold. Tonight, I got it. I got it. And this is the beginning. I can't wait to get to church tomorrow night if the Lord let me live to see it, because new direction is going to be on fire. Next level thinking is going to be on fire, because everybody around me is going to understand how serious I am about living this thankful life. All right. Thank you for your seeds. Thank you for everything you do. Most importantly, thank you for your time. Share this. Get it to somebody that may need. All right. Good night, everybody.